Hello, my name is Jacqueline and I'm the Information Literacy and Learning Librarian for Live Life Aberdeenshire. And I have always been fascinated by the fantasy genre of books. And when I came to work here, I was told about an author who is called George MacDonald. And I was told that he was the most famous author that I wouldn't have heard of. And the person who told me was right. Earlier this year, I got to do some research on George MacDonald and learn a little bit more about him and about his works and about his life and about the people that he influenced. He was a contemporary of people like Lewis Carroll. He was a friend of Mark Twain. He influenced Tolkien and he influenced C.S. Lewis as well. So without him, there would be no Wonderland, no Narnia, and possibly no Middle Earth. I'm going to read you a little bit today about the main character, and he's called Diamond. He's named after the family horse that was called Diamond. That's a bit strange, isn't it? Now, he's quite old and his parents haven't taught him to read. So a man asks his dad, can the boy read? And the dad has to say, well, no. So they go about teaching him to read, but because he was a bit older, he found it very easy. But one of the things he wanted to read most of all was a poem that he read with his mum. So I'm going to read it to you now, and it is called Little Boy Blue. Little Boy Blue lost his way in a wood, sing apples and cherries, roses and honey. He said, I would not go back if I could, it's all so jolly and funny. He sang, this wood is all my own, apples and cherries, roses and honey. And so here I'll sit like a king on my throne, all so jolly and funny. A little snake crept out of the tree, apples and cherries, roses and honey. Lie down at my feet, little snake, said he, all so jolly and funny. A little bird sang in the tree overhead, apples and cherries, roses and honey. Come and sing your song on my finger instead, all so jolly and funny. The snake coiled up and the bird flew down, and he sang him the song of Birdie Brown. Little Boy Blue found it tiresome to sit, and he thought he'd better walk for a bit. So up he got his way to take, and he said, come along, little bird and snake. And the waves of snake o'er the damp leaves passed, and the snake went first, and Birdie Brown last. By Boy Blue's head, with flutter and dart, flew Birdie Brown with its song in his heart. He came where the apples grew red and sweet. Tree dropped down an apple down at my feet. He came where the cherries hung plump and red. Come to my mouth, sweet kisses, he said. And the boughs bowed down and the apples they dapple, the grass too many for him to grapple. And the cheeriest cherries never amiss fall to his mouth, each a full-grown kiss. He met a little brook singing a song. He said, little brook, you are going wrong. You must follow me, follow, I say. Do as I tell you and come this way. And the sing-songing forest brook leapt from its bed, and after he took, followed, and pale and wan, the dead leaves rustled as the water ran. And every high bird high up in the bough, and every creature low down below. He called, and the creatures obeyed the call, took their legs and their wings, and followed them all. Squirrels that carried their tails like a sack, each on his own little humpy brown back. Householder snails and slugs all tails, and butterflies, flutterflies, ships all sails, and weasels and owls and mice and larks, and owls and rare mice and harky-darks, all went running and creeping and flowing, and the merry boy fluttering and going. The dappled fawns fawning and fallow deer following, the swallows and flies flying and swallowing. Cockchafers, henchafers, cockyoli birds, cockroaches, henroaches, cuckoos and herds. The spider forgot and followed him spinning, and lost all his thread from end to beginning. The gay wasp forgot his rings and his waist, he never had made such undignified haste. The dragonflies melted to mist in their hurrying, the mole in his moleskins left his burrowing. The bees went buzzing so busy and busy, and the midges and columns so uptight and easy. But Little Boy Blue was not content, calling for followers as still as he went, blowing his horn, beating his drum, and crying aloud, come all you come. He said to the shadows, "Come after me," and shadows began to flicker and flee. And they flew through the wood, all flattering and fluttering, over the dead leaves flickering and muttering. And he said to the wind, come follow, with whistle and pipe and rustle and hollow." And the wind wound round in his desire, as if he had been the gold cock on the spire. And the cock itself flew down from the church, and left the farmers all in a lurch. They run and they fly, they creep and they come, everything, all in some. The very trees they tugged at their roots, only their feet were too fast in their boots. After him leaning and straining and bending, as on through their boles they kept walking and wending, till out of the wood he burst on a lea, shouting and calling, "Come after me!" And then they rose up with a leafy hiss, and stood as if nothing had been amiss. Little Boy Blue sat down on a stone, and the creatures came round him, every one. And he said to the clouds, "I want you there." And down they sank through the thin blue air. And he said to the sunset far in the west, "Come here, I want you, I know best." And the sunset came and stood on the wold, and burned and glowed in purple and gold. Then Little Boy Blue began to ponder, "What's to be done with them all, I wonder?" Then Little Boy Blue said quite low, "What to do with you all, I'm sure I don't know." Then the clouds clodded down till dismal it grew, the snake sneaked close round Birdie Brown flew, the brook sat up like a snail on its tail, and the wind came up with a "What will you wail?" And all the creatures sat and stared, the mole opened his very eyes and glared. And for rats and bats and the world and his wife, Little Boy Blue was afraid of his life. Then Birdie Brown began to sing, and what he sang was the very thing. "You have brought us all hither, Little Boy Blue. Pray, what do you want us all to do?" Go away, said Little Boy Blue. "I'm sure I don't want you. Get away, do." No, yes, and no. Sang Birdie Brown, "It mustn't be so. We cannot for nothing come here and away. Gives us some work, or else we'll stay." Oh dear, and sob with it, and with sigh, said Little Boy Blue and began to cry. But before he got far, he thought of a thing, and up he stood and spoke like a king. "Why do you hustle and jostle and bother? Off with you all, take me back to my mother." The sunset stood in the gates of the west. Follow me, came from Birdie Brown's breast. "I'm going that way as fast as I can," said the brook as it sank and turned and ran. Back to the woods fled the shadows like ghosts. "If we stay, we shall all be missed from our posts," said the wind with a voice that had changed its cheer. "I was going there when you brought me here. That's where I live," said the sack-backed squirrel, and he turned his sack with a swing and a swirl. Said the cock of the spire, his father's church warden. Said the brook running faster, "I run through his garden." Said the mole, 200 worms, there I caught him last year. I'm going again next autumn. Said they all, "If that's where you want us to steer for, what on earth or in water did you bring us here for?" "Never you mind," said Little Boy Blue. "That's what I tell you, if that you won't do. I'll get up at once and go home without you. I think I will, I begin to doubt you." He rose and uprose, the snake on its tail, and hissed 3 times, and half a hiss, half a wail. Little Boy Blue, he tried to go past him, but wherever he turned sat the snake and faced him. "If you don't get out of my way," he said, "I tell you, snake, I will break your head." The snake, he neither would go nor come, so he hit him hard with the stick of his drum. The snake fell down as if he were dead, and Little Boy Blue set his foot on his head. And all the creatures, they marched before him, and marshalled him home with a high cocklorum. The Birdie Brown sang twirr, twitter, twirr, twee. Apples and cherries, roses and honey. Little Boy Blue has listened to me, all so jolly and funny. The end. Now, that was quite a poem to learn to read on, isn't it? Now, next time, I'm going to read from Alice in Wonderland, which was written by Lewis Carroll or Charles Dodgson. So, till next time, bye-bye.